boy Tim Snow. Got another one here for you, man. I just want to say what's up to everybody here.
Yeah, boy, you a fella. I say you got me, man. That's what I'm saying.
Boy Tim Snow. Takes for the story family. Salute y'all. It's your boy Tim Snow. Takes for the story family. Salute y'all. It's your boy Tim Snow.
Takes Prison Story family, salute y'all. It's your boy Tim Snow. We back here with another episode. You see what the title is, man. I got my man Shannon here with me. I'm honored to have him tonight. I'm about to bring him on, but I wanted to explain what we're doing here, right? We're going to keep it as real as possible while, of course, not embarrassing anybody. We already talked about no name dropping if we talk about something, anything, but we're gonna keep it real because you know what? This is the type of stuff that kids need to hear. This is the type of stuff that really goes down. So my man right here does some of the better videos on my channel with me. If you haven't checked them out right here, you need to check out our previous videos. I swear you're going to really like them. They did great views, and he is a actual real life motivational speaker. So man, bro, I couldn't have nobody else better. When I thought of this idea, I say, man, I got to have Shannon on here with me, man. I felt like it was going to be great. How you doing tonight, bro?
I'm doing wonderful, brother. It's a great day to be alive and free, right? Yeah.
Every day is, huh?
I ain't gonna
lie. I had a long day, but you know what? When I finished that end of that day safe in my house, I feel like mission complete. It don't matter how long or what was going on, man. So
yes,
we both made it home. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Good day.
Yeah. So I had a few comments, and they was wanting to know, in real life, is prison rape a real thing? In 2025, was it ever a real thing or anything like that? I know you did 25 years in the system, and me personally, just recently did a couple stories, dog, and so actually, believe it or not, too, somebody was dropping in the chats and actually super chatted some bucks with it and said that their cousin had just been, rest in peace to him, starved to death by his cellie in G5 and being sexually assaulted the whole time until they died, right? Like they
I heard about some stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but so it had happened about a year before that. I read an article about somebody getting indicted and arrested for starving and raping their cellie in like 2019 or something like that too. You know what I'm saying? Like real life shit going on right here, man. And
yeah. How brutal is that? Whew.
How brutal is that? Think about it. So listen, bro, we try to talk about the system and how savage the guards are and everything. And we understand. So both of us have agreed. We understand why a lot of the guards are callous, why they're numb to the shit, and they start taking on this convict mentality and all that. That's a self-defense mechanism, brother. You know that, just like I do. It's a way they cope with it, right? But
there's that, and they also, guards become institutionalized too, sometimes worse than inmates. Yeah.
Yes, but listen, I can't make no excuse for that when you're watching a man like we talked about where he's starving like a concentration camp. You know what I'm saying? Like the guards are so callous, so careless, so foul sometimes that they gotta notice at least once, dog, while they're sliding these trays through the slot or the doors pop, something going on.
If anybody, whether it be a guard or an inmate, if anybody can see something like that going on and ignore it, man, they're to the point where their soul's already withered and died, bro. They ain't got no soul no more, man. And that's hardcore, man. But some people get like that, you know. That's bad. Them are the people that actually need to be there. And I hate saying that about anybody because I hate prison. I don't hate anybody being in prison. But some people sometimes, you know?
I mean, imagine the guards that are feeding these men, watching them literally starve to death. The one guy that I was reading about, he was like 6 foot, I think, and down to 115 pounds when he died. When he died, it was from malnutrition, and he had sexual assault wounds on him at the exact same time, right? So the dude is, listen, imagine this for the viewers, for the people watching, right? If you're watching, matter of fact, if you're watching on YouTube, double tap the screen for me. If you're watching on Facebook, share the video out for us, y'all. We're trying to get the word out here to the youth, man. For real, show love to the platform. Let's get this going. But imagine these guards surely sometime have seen this person in there looking like they're dying, dog, looking like they're starving. Come on, there's
Think
no
about
way.
this here.
Count
Here in the
time.
state of Texas, you're supposed to, whoever they put you with as a cellie in the same cell, you're supposed to be within 50 pounds and 10 years of age of your cellie. And if you've been starving and you're all dried up and emaciated, man, it's obvious, man, there's a mismatch here. Something's wrong in one way or another. Something's going on here. Why is this 6 foot whatever guy and this guy that's just skin and bones? What's going on here? You know?
Can you imagine this though? Let's imagine. So I'm not trying to make fun of nobody, and again, I'm talking to the viewers too. Imagine yourself being in a cell with somebody, and you know what? Shout out to my homeboy Josh, the homie hangout, because we was talking about this type of thing earlier. That's what gave me the idea to say this. There are some people, Shannon. It's like they're more afraid of getting a black eye and a broken nose than they are getting raped. You know, there's some people that are like,
I can't wrap my mind around that.
I know you feel what I'm saying. Like for some reason they can talk themselves into believing that that's not uh that's less dangerous for them. I guess you know what I'm saying. Like say, man, it's I don't know how to explain it. Like people, you know how I know a lot of times get what he finessed out of it, right? They get talked out of the booty doing like crazy,
Yes, sir.
crazy shit, like all the way to extorting. Like so, prison rape ain't always just a knife to the neck. You know what I'm saying? You got any stories like you seen any crazy shit like that go down?
Well, the very first question was in 2025, is prison rape still a real thing? And in a single word, yes. You know, now that's the simple answer. The thing is, today it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Let me put that out there, man. The worst that I know of personally was probably in the 80s. In the 80s and maybe even a little bit of the early 90s, and it was a real bad thing. It was happening. You know, whether they were taking it, whether they were tricking you into it, finessing you, whatever the case may be. But it was bad. You know, they did introduce these PREA laws in Texas. PREA is an acronym for the Prison Rape Elimination Act. And they started enforcing these things and giving guys free world cases and extra time, brand new sentences on top of whatever sentence or sentences that they're already serving, right? And that actually made a difference, man. I give it to them. That made a difference. So,
Hey, you know what? So listen to what you're explaining.
These days, it's a whole different ball game, though. Every now and then, it's taken by force, and it does still happen, though it's more rare than what it used to be. You know, today they're either tricked into it, they're intimidated into it, or you know what I've seen personally that is more likely to happen is these guys are getting super intoxicated on whatever type of dope they got in prison. You know, predominantly this K2 stuff, which has no telling what type of chemical soup in it, fentanyl and whatever else, all kinds of stuff mixed in. You never know what it's going to be, you know. And you know, I even matter of fact, I got a story about one of my actual homeboys, man, a guy that I called a friend, a buddy of mine. He was a really good tattoo artist, you know, and he did some of my work. You know, he did some of my tattoo work on me. He got shipped to another unit. And matter of fact, I don't mind putting the unit out there, man. McConnell unit. McConnell's a pretty rough unit. And
real rough.
Medium custody. You know, I hear the story and it shocks me, bro. It shocks me, man, because I know this guy. You know, and he's stiff. He ain't soft or nothing. And apparently they're on medium custody, on, you know, locked in the cell most of the time. And him and his cellie, they getting high together. And homeboy gets so high that he's like delirious. You know, he's out of his mind. He can't even really control his body or nothing. I'm sure most people have seen all the crazy K2 videos out there. And man, his celly raped him while he was high. He took his booty. And man, like man, I was like, what? Are you serious? Like this is somebody I know. It shocked me, you know. And so yeah, that's a big one today, man. Y'all want to mess with these drugs, this crazy chemical soup, this K2 and whatever else, bath salts and meth and all this other craziness. You get spun out of your mind too much, man. You don't know what you're gonna wake up to, man. You're gonna wake up a different person. You know, yeah, it's man, it ain't worth it, man.
Say
It
that
ain't.
was the realest thing you said right there. Chemical soup. If that
Yeah,
don't make somebody think right there, my brother, well, what nothing will make them think. You feel me? Because listen,
yeah.
these people don't even know what the fuck they're smoking. Like they don't
They
even know
don't,
like
and it's
what's
always
on the.
different.
You know what I'm saying? They just know it's doing something to them. Like they
Yeah.
have no
And
idea.
it changes all the time, so you never know what you're gonna get. You might get some bunk stuff that don't do nothing, barely does something, you know, makes you fall face first on the floor, gives you seizures, throwing up, or there was just a couple of guys in like 1 week on the Darrington unit, which they call Memorial now. Man, there was 3 guys that died. They're in transit. They're just passing through. One of them was there for less than a day, smoked something that he bought off the run, and he died. 3 different people died in the space of a week. You never know what you're going to get, bro. Man, it is not worth it. That is crazy to take a chance with your life like
So,
that.
so let me ask you a question. Now, you just told me threw me in a different direction when you said that about the guy and his cellmate, right? Because I posted a video or two on Facebook. So if you don't follow the Texas Prison Stories Facebook page, make sure you follow that one too, because we're live right now on YouTube and we're live on Facebook. But I posted a video, and the couple people were down bad, dog. They had smoked like some high powered K2, right? They were, I mean, down bad, Shannon, like on the ground, like, and people,
Mhm.
listen, people was messing with them, but they weren't like causing no seriously bodily harm or nothing, right? But it was really humiliating. They were basically humiliating the hell out of these men, like,
Yes.
uh, but at the same time, dog, I understand why the public is shocked, but they have to understand the mindset of a penitentiary. Everybody else is thinking you did this to yourself, dog. Why are you even
Yeah.
like this right
And
now?
it's
You
a
know what I'm saying?
very, very rough sense of humor in there. Very rough.
Right. They ain't man, say you want to talk high school locker room. Now we talking about 10
Yeah, that's
that to the
PG
10
13.
million. Yeah, 10 million times that. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
no mercy showed. If you got something funny on looking on your face, that might be your nickname in prison. Yeah, you missing one ear, you might be called one ear. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? These motherfuckers ain't no
They don't care.
coolness about, yeah, no, ain't no coolness
There
about it,
ain't
but
much sensitivity. But the
mm-mm.
system also does that to you, man. They're stripping you down 4, 5, 6 times a day. You're always naked. You lose a complex. You lose all sensitivity about a bunch of different stuff in there. You know,
You
so
know
that's
what?
just another thing.
That's another. So when I first came out, and I was explaining to people that if you're busy in prison, like you got a job and you go to school and you go places and stuff,
Yeah,
how
it's the
much
best
how
way.
much they strip you and how naked you actually got to get all day.
I used to strip out 6 times a day. 6 times a day, I got naked in front of a whole bunch of people. You know, you just lose all complex. It doesn't matter.
Eh,
And not to mention the showers, like on the red brick units, the old units, you know, there's like 85, 100 people in here, and they're just poles with shower nozzles all around them. And, you know, 85 to 100 people or so, you're all in there at the same time, you know,
You better
taking a
not be
shower.
shy, huh?
How you going to be? You just not going to
Say
take a shower forever?
so. Listen, let's remind. This how I remember it, right? Everybody would go down the hallway in your boxer shorts and your shower shoes, holding your clothes. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know, pack. Yeah.
Yeah, when you come in, but when you come in, and I guess yeah, when you come in, you throw them in the basket. Then you go
Yeah.
take your boxes off, throw them in another basket, get up under the little shower tree and everything. And then do you remember? I know you remember when you got to get in line. But I'm gonna describe this to the viewers. They would literally say nuts to butt. I
Woo.
want y'all nuts to butt, nuts to butt. That's how close they want you butt naked in line because he's telling you there's 100 to 200 men in this little ass room with the shower. Sometimes it's steamy, can't barely see in this motherfucker. It's cold outside. You know what I mean? Like it can get.
The water might be cold. A lot of times the water's cold as hell, and it might be 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're gonna run showers. Yeah.
Well, so that was one thing for sure that they'll use that water temperature to get you up out of there real quick. When they're ready, they feel like your wing done took too long in that shower. It's fixing to turn ice cold or burning hot, one of the two.
Yep. Yep.
But anyway,
just real quick, a little throwback on that one, man. Some really bad places back in the day, man. You never went to shower no less than 3 or 4 deep, with people that you consider friends or buddies or whatnot to watch your back, people you trusted. And the way you used to do it, man, wherever y'all going to shower at, one person would, like, I'd get in the water, I'd get wet, then I'd step out and I'd start soaping up while the next man's getting wet. And the third man's holding a knife, just for protection, in case anything crazy tries to go down in here, because, shower's a real vulnerable place. I mean, even most of the prison movies got that one right. It's a real vulnerable place. There's some dark corners and they're not allowed to have cameras in there, so yeah, so that's how it used to be. We used to take turns and rotate, step in, get wet, step out, soap up, step in, rinse off, all while somebody's always watching out. That's just hard living, but that was a fact of life. That was a reality.
Not the life you want, y'all. Listen to what he's telling you.
Does that sound like fun? Does that sound like fun to anybody?
Hold on, that shit is still going on right now on some of these units. That people better understand that was like he's talking about back in the day too. But man, there's federal USPs right now too, where it's a rule that you got to have somebody standing outside while you take your shower. It's like mandatory. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a shower buddy. Because you go in there and close the curtain. You know what I'm saying? And you can't see if somebody's about to run up and stab you or kill you or whatever. You got to have a homie on point. They'll wear their boots. Bro, they literally wearing their boots to the shower and carrying their shower shoes. Yeah, and ready to jump in the boots real quick. Like this is not.
I've worn my kicks in the shower before. Got them soaking wet and everything. Didn't care. Oh well.
No, yeah. Be much better than slipping and sliding, but with nothing on. You know it.
Yeah, or being a rape victim. Heaven forbid.
You can't hardly defend yourself. No shoes on.
To circle back to that, man, that wasn't that long ago. That story about my buddy and his celly. That was probably 20. Think for a second here, man. About 2023, maybe. Yeah.
So listen. When we hear a story about that where a man got so intoxicated that he was able to be assaulted like that, that's first of all, I'm not ever gonna make fun of somebody like that. They are down bad, and you should not be taking advantage of the vulnerable. But at the same time, man, you gotta know how vulnerable you're gonna be and who you're gonna be vulnerable like that around. You know what I'm saying? Like if this is your own silly, like do you think? So I guess my best way, do you think he was like totally surprised when this happened? Or do you think this was like a total shock to him?
I can only imagine it was a total shock, bro. Total shock. I can't imagine any other way. And like another thing, man, for these cats that have these addictions to this horrible drug, primarily K2. There's others, of course, but primarily the K2, man. If you're ever going to break the cycle of addiction, man, you have to have a powerful reason. There has to be a real powerful why. And man, if that can do that to you, like make you helpless, defenseless, to that point where you could be taken advantage of like that and not even be able to defend yourself or do nothing about it, man, if that ain't a big enough reason for you to break the cycle of addiction, man, then whew, man, you're in bad shape, bro. And there's plenty of people in real bad shape.
So I won't say, man, listen, I won't say the name because it's one of my good friends, man. I really like this woman. She's pretty cool. But her son was in there down bad smoking, dog, owed a bunch of money, and she kept trying to pay, right? Like she was trying her damnedest to keep this boy safe, dog. Like she knowing he's in a very serious place and in a very serious situation because he owed his bread. do you know he ended up literally, she said, getting his face stomped in, dog. Like he's
Yeah,
now totally looks different than he used to. You know what I'm saying? Whole shit caved
that
in.
that's the most common thing that people get. What's the term I want? That people get beat up, jumped, stabbed, hit with fan motors, locks. The most common reason that people get in trouble in prison today is for debts, and it's almost always drug debts. But the people let them run up these debts. I mean, it's kind of a vicious cycle. Like the last unit I was on right before I got out. I've put it out there before. Torres unit. I call it the terrible Torres. One of the worst places I ever been. Spent my last 8 months on there, and over there, I used to watch this happen every single day of the week. These guys would sell this K2 stuff to these other inmates. And if these inmates, they got a rule over there. If you do anything crazy in the day room, if you have a tune attack, as they call it, and you draw attention from the guards, if you draw any kind of heat over here to the wing or do anything stupid in the day room, then you're going in the bowl. That's what they call it. You're going in the bowl.
Yeah.
Come about 7, 8 o'clock at night, they're going to pop open a cell. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 cells open at once. And you're going in there, and either 1, 2, or 3 people are fixing to beat you up for 45 seconds. They time it on a tablet. They got a stopwatch on there. Go. And hold 45 seconds. Don't stop. You think that don't sound like a long time? That's a long time.
Shit, especially because the timer stops if you fall down and drop. Shit, you got to get back up, or they're gonna stomp your ass for the rest of the 45. Probably.
Yeah, this is the kicker. So this happens every day, and it might be the same night. It don't even have to be the next day. As soon they're gonna sell them the drugs, they're gonna beat them up for acting stupid on the drugs or getting silly on the drugs and drawing attention, and then as soon as they're done beating them up, they'll sell them some more. Over and over, bro. Every day. Is that insanity? Is that not the definition of insanity?
So here's the definition of insanity. My friend, I love her. I'm not going to say her name, but she's probably watching. Hope she don't get offended by this. Just told me herself that the son with the face like that is back in the same situation in a different prison right now. She's scared to death.
Addiction is a beast, brother. A beast.
Especially that. Like my friend, shout out to Wack Deuce, was asking in the comments what we're talking about. He's basically said, he called it a chemical soup. That's a chemical soup. It's a whole bunch of shit they're smoking, like, bro, in these Texas prisons. And we ain't giving away no game. Everybody knows. So Shannon, you were still locked down, dog. You weren't out yet, right? But they remember when they did that statewide lockdown and they were looking for contraband because of the overdoses. Dog, during that contraband, they found methamphetamine, PCP, ecstasy, everything that you could think of, crazy stuff, LSD, like, man, there was every single thing that you could think of. They found
Xanax is everything, from commercial to fake. From commercial to fake.
Yeah. It's from synthetic to real. Like the list that the Texas Department of Corrections themselves released of what they had was crazy, dog. And I was like, man.
And I've seen pictures of some of these drops, as they call them, drops that have been busted. These are packages of illicit substances that people are trying to sneak in. And bro, these ain't no small packs. I'm talking about big packs, bro. Like, man, pound of K2. Matter of fact, in liquid form, somebody apparently tried to throw like 2 entire like milk jug gallons of the stuff over the fence or something.
Remember, that was that Styles unit not too long ago. It made the news. So that we ain't giving no game away on that. That shit made the news right there.
This is all public record. This is public record stuff here.
I'm thinking they probably would have some so milk jugs and shit will bust. You know what they probably use? I was thinking about it. Probably like some apple juice jars or something like that. Some.
I just know that it was like 2 gallons. How much debt 2 gallons of liquid K2 is? That's like probably $1 million street value.
Yeah, I did a video about it. It really is like it's $1 million penitentiary value for sure. Yeah. Probably not on streets, but
that's what I was referring to, really. Yeah,
a real
penitentiary street value.
A real cool million. You know what I'm saying? And then
like realistically, Yeah.
Yeah, hell
Mm.
yeah. That boy, they ain't but man. That's what people ain't understanding. You know what I'm saying? So here goes another thing. Shout out to my homeboy Josh, homie hangout. He's in the comments right now. So listen, when we talk
Right.
about prison rape, let's keep it real because, like you said, it is not prevalent like it used to be, right? We
Right.
talked about it when you first came down. You really might see. So I'm gonna show you what this leads to. Really, like back in the day, and I got to the tail end of it, where you really might see a boy sitting on a man's lap. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like a 17, 18-year-old kid sitting on a grown ass man lap, or what'd you say, on the day room floor, sitting between his
Yes.
legs.
That was the only place they were allowed to sit when I first got down. I went down in the year 2000. That's the year I got to prison, Texas prison, man, in the year 2000. And when I rolled up, man, I was 18 years old. I had a fresh 35 ag, on a fresh murder case, man. There wasn't no light at the end of the tunnel. I'm a relatively small dude, white dude in prison, man. And I had a bad attitude. Let's just put it that way. And I got put on medium custody before I ever made it off a transfer facility, man. Before I ever made it off of Garza West, I got put on medium custody, and they shot me straight to the French Robertson unit to medium custody in the year 2000. And it was the Rock and Robertson Steel. And yeah, over there, like, man, anybody that didn't stand up for themselves, for one, and sex offenders for two. They were treated so horribly, and nobody cared. The guards didn't care. They figured that that's what they deserved or something like that. That was their attitude. So these people would get beat up, slapped, punked around, have anything taken from them. They weren't allowed to sit on any tables, any seats, any benches. They were only allowed to sit on the floor. And oftentimes they had a man. Either that was their man physically, you know what I'm saying, or that was who they were paying for protection. And if it was their man physically, and oftentimes they would sit on the floor between that man's legs. That was a common sight. If they weren't like that, they might be sitting on the floor beside the man's seat, or they'll be sitting along the wall around the day room, sitting on the floor somewhere. That's the only place they're, even today, a lot of places, that's the only places they're allowed to sit, is on the floor around the walls of the day room. A lot of places they're still not allowed to sit at tables and benches.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just real talk.
So
Yeah,
listen, I started in 2005, right? And somewhere around it, like 2004, 2005, and that shit was pretty much starting. I'm not even sure. It was the PREA. It was the safe. The what is it? PREA Act. When the PREA Act came in,
Prison
so
Rape
that's what.
Elimination Act.
Right.
Yeah.
See, before that act came in, that there was very little reason for them not to do shit to people. If you want to know the real honest to God truth, they weren't investigating it. People would report that. So listen, dog, we're talking about there were way before payphones even existed in the day room,
Yeah, wasn't
right?
no phones in prison.
Yeah,
Not
so
no
listen,
legal
for
ones.
people that are watching from other states, we're talking about, listen, you're in a tiny ass little day room on these old buildings with a whole bunch of people. There's zero communication with your family because guess what? If you write home to your family telling them you're being abused, there's a 99% chance the mailroom would throw that shit out because they didn't want to be liable for it. Like, you
Yeah.
were down that road by yourself most of the time. There were no payphones on the wall. There was no tablets. There was no homing pigeons tying a letter to
All
the
there was
leg.
snail mail. Yeah.
Snail mail, dog. That would be highly censored by these mail rooms. You know what I'm saying? So there was very little reason for people to even give a fuck. And that's why it was so crazy like that. But what really used to trip me out is when I seen it myself, it was exactly like what you said. It's usually somebody paying for protection, or it was somebody, to me, seemed like they was doing it voluntarily. If you want to
Yeah.
know the truth, right? I didn't see
Yep.
nobody that looked like they wanted to get up and take off running.
Yeah. That's
You feel?
another big thing too. These days, man, especially like today, recent times, there's a lot more, and I mean a lot more, just open homosexuals in prison now. And they used to get treated really, really bad as well. But these days, man, a lot of them, they walk freely. A lot of some places they're running stuff, man. It's really crazy. It's turned around. But
Because
I
that's
mean,
how it
that's
is in
very
society right now. Shit, it's the people coming in like that. That it's so indoctrinated to it right now, coming out of the big cities where it's so prevalent. Like
that's
it's
another reason. That's another reason, though, that that prison rate is not so high anymore either, because there's a lot
uh,
more openly homosexual men in prison now.
so. Listen, I seen something in the feds when I first got to the feds. Shannon, it's crazy, right? And the the transsexuals had a real
Mhm.
life shot caller that packed real life knives and had a real 35 years with no parole and long hair and breasts, but was a man. You know what I'm saying? Like you play with one of them. I actually witnessed that fool right there check the hell out of somebody when I first got there over grabbing the hand of another transsexual. And the exact words that this fool said was, "My girls ain't got nothing for sale and ain't trying to give nothing away. Keep your hands off of them." You feel me? And I'm like, whoa, they got whole transsexual shot callers in the feds. But you know what? Hey, they'll take it. They will take your life too at the same time, though. You
Hey,
feel what I'm saying? They were still
hey,
men. You know what I mean?
yeah, I got two for you off the top of my head, real quick, man. One's a throwback and one's more recent. Man, there was like this legend on Beto back in the Gap, and I never actually hit Beto myself, but I know plenty of people that have been through there. And dude worked in the showers even. Big old guy, man. Big old black dude, man. They called him Shamu. That was the nickname, man. Shamu was like a legend. There'd probably be some people out there that recognize the name. Shamu was known that he was homosexual and he would hit on people. And if they rebuff him, I don't know how he made his little picks or whatever, but he'd been known for like knocking somebody out. And when they wake up, like the dude's down on him, you know what I'm saying? Like eating him up, as they say. And you just wake
Oh,
up.
say
You
eating them
just
up.
you just
That's
wake up.
crazy.
I mean, think about it. You just wake up, you knocked out unconscious, and you're like, ah, what the hell's going on?
So,
Yeah,
so
that used to happen. Yeah.
man,
Mm.
that's. I mean, yeah, that's real. That's so. Listen, when you was talking about what happened to the dude you knew in the cell, like once you
Yeah.
sober up, though, let's be for real now. Let's stop playing for a minute. Once,
Okay.
say you get real high, you trip out in the cell, and that man take advantage of you, and now you sobered up. It's an hour later. Now what?
Well, most people would say you only have one option. If you want to continue to have any type of respect as a man within the penitentiary, you still got some years to do in there or whatever. Most people would say that you don't have no other choice except to stab that guy, man, to stab him, to take him down with a fan motor, to do something extremely violent like that. You know, I'm not going to say all that because that's promoting the wrong type of stuff, man. I pray that never happens to anybody. But man,
No, but it's
it's
real
just,
though.
I mean, wow, dog, what do you do? What are your realistic options if you don't want to spend the rest of your life in prison?
I
You
mean, so
know?
the guys, so the few I think that I was talking about where the cellmates had starved them to death, they were sexually assaulting them and starving them to death. Man, listen, a human being can live a long time if you just let him have the beans and the greens off his tray and you take the main course. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you kept him alive and you tortured him just so you could molest him and you could rape him. And this is like the
That's
sick.
sadistic.
This is the level of sickness that's really going on inside of these places, dog. And listen to what you said. In all reality, uh, you so wax say if you let a gay dude in your cell, you gay. That's the crazy part. You can't, man. Listen, you can't control in Texas who they put in your cell. Man, you gotta physically remove them at this point. Is what we're saying, and it does happen all the time. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
motherfucker will grab his mat, grab everything he owns, and throw that motherfucker off 3 row. You know what I'm
yeah, I've
saying?
seen
And he
that.
gotta, yeah, lots of times, but we don't get to pick or choose in the state of Texas who you live with, especially when they put you closed custody or something like that. You know what I mean? So where it was happening where they was starving them out and they was doing their crazy shit. I want to say one of them was Telford, where they probably had them basically never giving them their 1 hour of recreation, dog. They probably was just keeping them back there 24 hours a day, just staying in the hole. The man just had
No hope,
no
no way out.
no fucking chance, dog.
Yeah, like he probably never got out of the cell to where he could have tried to run somewhere or
Beg
tell
for help or
something or
nothing.
catch out. You know, as they say, catch out. He never had a chance. Yeah.
That's crazy. They asking in the
Well,
comments, do Texas do racist mixes cellmates? Shit, we just said you
yes.
don't get to you don't get to
Everything
choose
makes
here. So check this
everything.
out.
Yeah.
Tell them how it feels to feel like there might be a race ride finna crack off soon, and you got a black cellmate or something, and y'all are
Oh,
actually friends. Like
yeah.
that's a messed up feeling. I know that can't be
Yeah. When
cool.
you know what? The longest fight I ever had in my life to this day, man, I had a whole 5 minute fight, like UFC style, bro. And that's why I like UFC and I respect them guys so much because I actually understand, you know, the type of endurance it takes to go for 5 whole minutes. And title matches, they do that 5 minute rounds.
Hell
Man,
yeah.
that level of conditioning is otherworldly almost. But yeah, he was a buddy of mine, man, a black guy, man. He was a GD cat, and this is way back on Robertson too. And I had just fought another dude right before him, you know, another black dude right before him, man. This dude was out there. He was next. We're friends, but he's in a gang, and his leader, the guy calling the shots for him, he told him, "Hey, you next." So he, you know, he kind of didn't have no choice about it, man. And we went in there and we took care of our business. And man, we boxed for 5 whole minutes, bro, just going hard, toe to toe in the shower. And you just ain't got no choice, man. When in prison, your loyalty has to be to your people, whether that be a gang, whether that be a race, whatever it is that you've identified with and clicked up with. That's where your loyalty is because that's where your protection lies. That's who's going to have your back when you need it or if you need it and all that kind of stuff. That's who's going to look out for you. So, you know, that loyalty first over friendship. It's rough, it's hard, it sucks. It's just what it is. It's part of the survival game. So when it comes to a riot, yeah, if you got a celly that's in a different gang or a different race and riot's finna pop off, usually, you know, you just tell each other like, look, bro, you know, we both know what it is, man. We'll try to avoid each other if possible. If not, man,
Mm-hmm.
just, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. It ain't nothing personal, man. You know what I'm saying? We all right in the cell, but when that door rolls and it pops off, I mean, it's just what it is, dog. You know, got to take care of business. And it's hard, boy. Like I told y'all before, man, I've been in 6 riots in my life. And man, what makes it even, I don't know, for lack of a better term, call it more intense, is white dudes are the minority in prison, especially stiff white dudes, you know, the guys that stand up for themselves and take care of their business, man, and have a little respect. Dude, there might, like realistically, there might be 5 of us. You know what I'm saying? And there's 20, 30, 40 of whatever other group or whatever. And we know we're fixing to get smoked, bro. We know we're fixing to get smoked. But you know what? We're still going to fade it. We're still going to step out there. We're going to strap up our boots. Come what may. Let's get it. You know, and you're standing, I've stood side by side with men, and I literally held my hand up, and that boy's shaking. That boy's vibrating. Yeah. And I just point at it like, man, look at that. So I thought we're going to get it. Let's go. Yeah. It's terrible feeling, man.
Yeah, it's real life shit. It's real life. That's what listen, so that's why I love you on the channel, because you know what? That's the type of shit people need to hear, man. Like this is especially so listen, the white kids watching this, bro. Real talk. They need to hear this, right?
Well, let me address them then, brother. I'll address them directly.
Listen, I'm gonna put you on the camera while I listen, because so here's another reason why I wanted you on there, and I don't want you to have no part of this, and he ain't got nothing to do with the beef that been going on and nothing, but this is what a real life Texas solid wood sounds like, right? What he just say, 5 of them, put the boots on and go anyway. Hands shaking, fuck it, we gotta rock it out. But I really do want you, Shannon, to address the young white men and tell them how they better. Just tell them whatever the hell you know what to tell them. I don't know. I ain't gonna tell you what to tell them.
I just tell them my real life, man. I lived it, bro. I man, for all you cats out there listening, or they get to see this through it being shared or whatnot, man. This the real life thing, man. I got convicted of murder when I was 17 years old. I thought I was hard already. I've been living the life. You know, I'm a G. You know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff, man. I'm into the music and the lifestyle. I done been to TYC twice. Done been to boot camp and state school before I ever went to prison. So, you know, I wasn't completely green, you know, but even then, man, when you're out there living this life, thinking you're cool, fly, trying to fit in with this group or that group or whatever's trending right now, whatever the flavor of the week might be, the flavor of the month, and all that, man, you're just being a follower, bro. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got your own identity yet. You're probably too young, or if you're not that young, then you just haven't matured completely yet. You don't really have a solid identity. You don't know who you are. You're trying to be like whoever's cool right now, you know, and that's going to lead you down a hole that's going to cost you years, maybe decades of pain and suffering, misery, you know, addiction, death, you know, heaven forbid, rape. You know, you never know what's going to happen to you, man. You come out scarred up, banged up, beat up, you know, mental problems, addictions. You know, you're going to wreck your life, man, just trying to be cool, trying to be like whatever's going on right now. Man, find yourself, you know. But before all that, let me tell you, man, there ain't nothing cool about going to prison. You know, you think any of this stuff really sounds like fun? People getting so intoxicated, man, they don't even realize they're getting raped. You know, people getting their faces stomped in over drug debts that they can't pay because you ain't got no way to make legitimate money in there. If you got some little side hustle making soups or something, but you owe a couple $100 or $1,000 to somebody, that would take years to pay off. And then you're on the phone hustling your family, mama, grandma, whoever it may be. Man, I really need this money, or these guys are going to kill me. You know, please send $1,000. Come on, man. You ain't got no pride left at all at that point. You're like, man, and I hate to say it, but really, man, what do you think of yourself at that point in time? You know, and if you haven't never fell that far, who actually wants to fall that far? You know, for y'all white kids out there, man, young white men, whatnot. I don't care if you're a gangbanger, you know, I don't care if you identify as white or not, because a lot of people don't these days. They want to be anything but. But whatever your case may be, man, white people are a minority in the prison system. We're the minority, you know, and the minority catches the brunt. We catch the worst of it. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. You got to go hard if you want to be able to stand up and still hold your head up. You know, you got to do a lot of fighting. You got to prove yourself over and over, and then you're cool. People finally respect you, man, and leave you alone. But you get sent to another unit, they may or may not have ever heard of you. Guess what? You got to go through it all over again. Here we go. You know, man, bro, what part of this sounds like fun? Any of it? Because it don't sound like fun to me. I lived it and did it, and I've been blessed. I've been lucky. Look at it. I got a straight nose. I got all my teeth. My homeboy used to tell me, bro, you've been down how long? Over 20 years, and you still got all your trophies? He said, shit, you either fight real good or run real fast. I told him, shit, both.
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them type shit around here. You got to use your brain. Say,
Yes, man.
listen, man, I got a video I'm fixing to do in a couple days. God willing, man, my man, he did a bunch of time, dog. I think he did a 12 and he got out for a quick second and went back and did a 17. But he started his prison sentence on Beto back in the day, and I mean, like when it was at the height of the worst, when everything
One
you
of the
talking
hardest
about,
units I ever heard of.
yeah, nah, listen, man, he's got some stories to tell. He'll literally tell you that, so they talk about Ferguson unit a lot, right? I don't mean to disrespect Ferguson at all, because it's square business too, but the
Was.
guys that Beto were the Ferguson dudes after they had grown up. right? Like it's the hardcore ass motherfuckers that was like they was grown ass men that was on your ass, and Ferguson was more of youngsters. You know what I mean? Shit
Yeah,
like that. So
they had 16 and 17-year-olds over there on Ferguson.
yeah, Ferguson was a fool because it had them young kids, and you know they don't got no goddamn sense. You know what I mean? Vito was a fool because they were older and they weren't playing no games
Yeah.
whatsoever, and their hustles and their convicting was so much more further advanced, and that's where he landed as a youngster. You know what I mean? Which one? Say if you had to look back picking right now, would you rather your very first time landed on a farm with some older cats that are more chill but maybe more advanced than you, or would you rather it did rocked it out like with some youngsters wilding out?
That's easy, bro. That's the easy one, man. Give me old heads any day, bro.
Straight up,
I can
huh?
vibe. I can vibe with a convict. I understand them, and I've always tended to hang out with guys older than me anyway. But yeah, youngsters are just man, they're crazy, bro. That I told you about Terrible Torres. That's a youngster farm, average age mid 20s,
They were
early
saying
20s.
something about a ride over there real recently.
Yeah, I heard that. They did. They
Yeah,
had a little race riot over there, man, on medium custody.
yeah,
That's right.
I heard about that not too long ago. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. So here's something that me and you talked about. Since they got this new rule out about everybody getting a 15-day restriction if they catch somebody smoking something,
Yeah.
bro, my homeboy literally sent a message through somebody else because man, I ain't gonna lie, I don't even have my phone and nothing registered through that Securus because I don't really want none of the people in the system realizing and who I deal with because I don't ever want them retaliating against none of my friends or something if I ever
Yeah.
have to pop their ass some way. So I three-way messages through people, you know what I'm saying? Legit, not three-way calls, but just I'll be like,
No.
tell such
Yeah.
and such this or
Yeah.
tell such and such that, you know what I'm saying? My kinfolk, man, he said where he's at, people have been literally getting fucking demolished, dog, for that right there. When that 15 days is up, he
Yeah.
say it's been horrible for people right now, man.
Oh
Have you
yeah.
talked to anybody on the inside that told you the same thing, or am I the
I
only one that
have.
heard that?
I have. They actually haven't made the 15-day lockdown universal across the state yet. It's select units, man. It's a handful, double handful of units doing it. They still do the 23 hours and 59 minutes. That's very common. That's every single day. That's
Yeah,
happening everywhere. But 15-day lockdowns, man, I've even heard of like a couple people dying already. And
yeah,
they're dying because they have these hardcore addictions and they literally cannot break their addiction. And even knowing that, man, if I get in trouble and the wing gets locked down, man, these guys are gonna destroy me, bro. They're gonna stomp me out. And man, they still can't help themselves, man. They're still over there smoking on a stick. You know, it's
man.
insane, bro. But yeah, it's
It's
happening. It's happening. And TDC, man, it seems like you're just encouraging the violence. You're trying to get inmate enforcement of your rules because you ain't had no luck enforcing them. You know, so now you're punishing everybody because you know when you do group punishments that inmates are going to take it out on whoever's causing it. You know, so
right,
that it's
right,
really
right.
it's an ugly thing, man. It's not a
That's what
good
I'm saying.
answer, and it's
It's a whole
definitely
setup.
not a solution.
So I ain't gonna say which unit it is because I don't even want to say who it was that told me, but he literally used the word they're demolishing these folks. That like, and he don't do no exaggerating, right? Like he ain't one.
Yeah,
He's been down for years and years. So when he
yeah,
say, "Man, these fools get us locked down for 15 days," they are getting demolished, dog. It is no love, and so we're talking about an addiction that's so bad men are getting raped. But here goes the other part. Let's wrap this around full circle to the rape in prison thing, which we were talking
yeah.
about. Now it's turned into men being so addicted they giving it up for the drugs, man.
That too, bro. That too, man. That too.
Boys and they're
They'll do
really,
anything
really,
for it.
really dropping that. What do we even call it? Demeaning themselves? How do we even describe that? Like I don't
Right? Yeah.
like what do you like straight dudes doing uh
Like
homosexual activities with
everybody
drugs?
used to look down. Everybody used to look down on crackheads. You know, it's a very derogative term. Call somebody a crackhead. Man, you just a crackhead. You a crackhead. Your mama's a crackhead. You know, that's just a real derogative insult to use. So everybody looked down on crackheads. Man, K2's like probably 10 times worse than crack.
It
You know,
is.
and that's saying something. And that's not like really exaggerating. This stuff is horrible, bro. And they get like this 20-minute high, and then they're right back to chasing it again. I seen your video. Seen the video online the other day, man. A dude that stood there and allowed another grown man to open hand slap the cowboy out of him, boy, just so that for a joint.
For another
And
stick.
everybody just stands around and laughs at him. Like, wow, look at, he even did it with baby powder on his hand.
Yeah.
Bow!
So what was crazy is go look at that and look in the comments about how many people are mad at the person that slapped him instead of mad at the dude allowing himself to be slapped like that for another 15-minute buzz. Why is we mad at the guy slapping him?
They both in the wrong, bro. They're both in the wrong.
I guess so. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, but the guy that's letting it happen is more in the wrong because you ain't slapping me like that for not a damn thing in this world.
That guy done gave up. He succumbed. He got no pride left at all. And the other guy slapping him, man, you're getting your amusement by through other people's suffering. You know what I'm saying? And it's a real rough sense of humor in there, I know. And I can see that happening. But dang, bro. Yeah, it doesn't make it right. Yeah.
No, so the guy, listen, so in that video that he's describing, y'all, that's on the Texas Prison Stories Facebook page. Make sure you follow that. It's literally a cat that he's still intoxicated when it's happening. Now, I'm going to be honest. You could tell he's still wobbly and everything else. But he clearly let them slap him as hard as humanly possible with baby powder on their hand just for another stick. I guess Listen, I guess he felt like it'd be better let me smoke one first, then you slap me like that, then I'll smoke. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing it sober.
That's a $2 joint in there. A $2 joint, man. You let a man slap you across the face as hard as he can. It wasn't no little dude that slapped him. The dude that got slapped is kind of a little skinny dude, man. You know, he kind of had the dope fiend look about him. The other dude was kind of hefty, man, and slapped the hell out of that man, bro. The old boy just stood there and wobbled. You know? Yeah. Come on, man. Is it really worth that?
So
if you had children, man, what would your kids think, man, if they seen that? Think about your mama seeing that. Anybody out there? What if your mama or your granny or somebody seen that? How would that make you feel, man? That's the stuff you need to hold on to. That's what you need to think about. Man, you got to find strength somewhere.
Oh, for real. I was saying that about some other YouTubers the other day. Like, man, you gotta maintain self-respect and self-control, because especially on something like that or something like this, man, where people, your family, maybe your employers might see this, your community might see this, your parole officer might see this. You know, they can't. Come on, man. You have to. So to be getting slapped silly on viral videos for $2 shows you extremely how out of control it is, man. Like I say, I'm not trying to demean or belittle. Somebody asked a question in the comments and sent $4.99. I appreciate that, White Cup. It said, did I see the video of the guy that received a life sentence and flipped the table over, fought 3 bailiffs? No, I didn't see that, but I know a personal friend myself. They gave him a life sentence on a capital murder, which was a win, I guess, because it wasn't a death penalty, right? That was the only other option. Yeah. So, but when they gave him the life sentence, he jumped up and he slapped his lawyer, and he grabbed the water pitcher that was on the table and poured it on top of his head, and he started yelling and screaming and doing all kind of crazy shit. That his mind was out of there. He had that. Yeah, I seen my own brother, bro. When they gave my brother that 50 years, do you know he started yelling and screaming at the judge in the courtroom? Yeah, he started yelling and screaming at the judge in the courtroom, and then had the nerve to try to file appeals later, thinking something was gonna shake. Not realizing every one of these judges go play golf together and been friends for the last 40 years and shit like this, man. I'll tell you something that's been tripping me out lately here, Shannon, that we got this thing called Busted Newspaper, dog. It's so every mugshot that comes out locally in different counties in Southeast Texas, they have these Facebook pages that are dedicated to them, right? So it don't matter what you're arrested for, your mugshot still comes on there. And do you know these young kids are on there nowadays because of this website, smiling in their mugshots?
Oh man, they think it's cool. Yeah.
They think it's cool. They don't understand that every time they go to court, that DA gonna open up that file and your mug shot is gonna be paper clipped to that little
Smiling
manila
at them.
folder, smiling at them. Yeah, when the judge gets your file the day that he deals with you, you smiling at him now. Like, yeah, one of the worst things I can
Young,
ever
yeah, young
recommend
cats do
is
not think
smiling
of
in your
this stuff.
mug shot.
Young cats do not think of this stuff, man, at all. They just think about what's trending, what's cool right now, who's cool. Let's do what they're doing. Let's be like them. They want to be like anybody and everybody else except they self. Like
But you
who are
know what?
you?
So let me admit let me admit one thing to you though. Hold on one second. Excuse me. My cat is going crazy over here, and I don't got my cat on. I got that cat. He's getting bigger and bigger. So listen, though, I was like that, bro. So listen, they've been on my bumper lately about, oh, he was the white crip, blah blah blah, and all this shit, right? Let me
Yeah,
tell you something. I just was doing what everybody else was doing where I was at when I was there. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
yeah.
I was just uh being normal is how I looked at it, right?
Yeah,
And look what it led to me.
don't get me
No,
wrong
no, I'm
either, man.
saying look what it
I
led
did
to
the
me though.
same thing.
Yeah, no, you had already talked about it. So we did
Yeah,
the video talking about this man being a prison gang member when he was young and all this shit. And
yeah,
same way that he could explain that is the same way that I ended up talking about and living for 25 years as a Crip and all this other shit. I carried it on for way too damn long. I'll be the one to admit it, you know what I'm saying? But you know, you know how I explained to him, bro? I said when I was a kid, I thought of as a kid, as a man, I thought as a man, and did as a man, and hate to admit it, it took me till shit, damn near 40 to start really thinking like a man because I didn't have my child till I was 38. You know, my
you
first
know what?
kid at 38.
That's not all that uncommon to tell you the truth, man. Myself, man, the thing I heard more than anything else in my entire life was probably the saying, like, man, Shannon, are you ever going to learn to think before you react? And man, the answer seemed to be no, bro, forever. It seemed to be no. Before you know it, I would just take off, and then I'm in seg, I'm in the hole, I'm in lockup, I'm in handcuffs, you know, and I'm like, dang, man, I just lost everything, man. Now I got to start all over again. That's a horrible feeling, bro. For what? For 1 or 2 minutes of some type of gratification, satisfaction, because I was offended or whatever happened. I don't know. And man, I didn't break that till I was probably about 32 years old. You know, I finally started
See,
thinking about it like, I'm mad. This guy's making me mad, or this or that's making me mad or frustrating me. If I speak on it, if I open my mouth and I speak on it and he says something back, you know, fly, as we like to say, you know, then I feel obligated to follow all the way through because I've already opened my mouth. So I started not opening my mouth. I bit my tongue. And
I,
that took some maturity, bro.
can I ask you a question and maybe it'll lead to a fire prison story?
Sure.
So I explained something. I feel like this, right? And much love to my brother Wack Deuce, man. I love him, man. Me and him had a conversation where he was getting on my ass yesterday, and you know what? I
Need
love him
that.
even more for that, man.
They were real
Sometimes I need
friends.
that, right? That's
Yeah.
real friends. Yeah, yeah, real friends. And hey, I was on his ass too, but that's it. That's how real friends are. But I described people dissing each other like content creators and shit like that on this YouTube genre and shit like that as slap. If you say something offensive about somebody, it's kind of like, so they call this shit the YouTube yard, right? That's what they call this whole genre. Well, what can you tell them in Texas? What happens if somebody gets slapped in the day room?
Well, well, it could be a couple of things, man. It depends on who you're slapping. You know, if you're slapping somebody that's not, you know, that's not, for lack of a better term, weak, man, you got an automatic fight on your hands. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care if the man is about to make parole tomorrow. You know, there's no questions. There's no other response. You're going to jump up and get to swinging, you know, and oh my God, you know, and if you don't, then man, the next man going to think that he can do the same thing and you ain't going to do nothing about it. So now you're fixing to spend the next months, years of your life fading this type of stuff or paying somebody else to protect you, some gang, some individual, whatever it may be, paying for protection. man, that's life changing, man. You got a life changing decision to make in that split second. You know, I'm happy to say ain't nobody ever slapped me, man.
Say, man, no. So you know what? That's kind of like a rare thing, right? It ain't because listen, people know, but so I'm gonna be honest with
Woo,
you.
that is
Listen,
so bad.
listen, I seen two Crips that sit right next to each other constantly. I ain't gonna say neither one of them name because I fuck with both of them real tough. But I seen one look over directly at the other one and just hock a gigantic loogie in his face in the day room.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That might be worse. That's just as bad. I couldn't tell you which one's worse.
Guess
Either
what he
one of them,
did? Guess what he did?
I have no idea.
So this I took this as gangster, right? I was like, man, this fool is God. This is the ultimate self control, is what I seen because he did like this. Look, he grabbed his shirt and he wiped his face off real slow and real good one time, and he looked over at that fool. He say, next in and out, you already know what the fuck it is, and you already be better. You better be ready. Like he didn't jump up and just take off on him in the day room. He didn't want that shit to be able to stop, dog. He wanted to like take him in the cell and like
Yeah. Those are
really,
the dangerous ones.
yeah, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. He had enough self control to where he say next in and out, we going in that cell, motherfucker. You know what it is. And I was like, but bro, listen, I couldn't do that. Do you think you
I,
could do that? Hell
I don't
no.
think so, bro. I can't imagine it. A matter of fact, I got to just be honest and say no. There ain't no way I could do that, man. There ain't no way.
Man.
I
So
couldn't do
so here was the thing, that we was all Crips, but they was from different cities and shit. So
it. Yeah, I get it.
that man that got spit on, had he not said, hey, when that in and out rolls or jumped up right then,
Yeah,
they was
could have
gonna
been a
pack
bigger
his ass
thing.
out. Oh, he was gonna be in bad fucking trouble. So when this man spit on him, he know it's mandatory action right now. Like retaliation is necessary on both sides. He's caught. He didn't cross the line as far as you can cross it. You feel me? Like there's
Mhm.
no absolute doubt about what's fixing to happen right now. But the crazy part was, how in the hell did that man have the patience to sit right there and
That
say,
hey, I'm on the same page with you, man. That's actually admirable to have that type of self control, man. That's kind of scary. For real.
it
Them are the
is?
dangerous ones, man.
That's that
You
fool
know,
that be waiting outside your house for like 3 years to shoot you or some shit. You know what I mean? And yeah, patience,
uh,
patience. But I
yeah.
mean,
Mm.
so it. I
Something
mean,
else that comes to mind. If just to circle back a little bit, man. Prison rape. You know, whenever you first go to prison, I think they still show the same video, man, that I seen 25 years ago. You know, they show you a video and there's a new inmate and he's coming into like a dormitory and he's assigned a bunk and he goes to do something and he comes back to his bunk and there's a candy bar sitting on his bunk. It's a matter of fact, it's a payday. It's a payday candy bar because we made a lot of jokes about it. Don't eat the payday. You know what I'm saying? And man, like, and it's this video is telling you do not accept nothing for free from somebody you don't know and know well, you know, or you don't know what you're going to end up owing in return or what's going to be expected in return.
no,
And
that's for
I've
real.
actually seen that happen with my own eyes, man, on French Robertson unit back in the Gap, man. This man, it was a white kid. He you know, as we used to say, square as a pool table, twice as green. And he come in, man, he's on medium custody too. And it's rough. And man, it all started with a mint stick, bro. It all started with a mint stick. Man,
With a
man
mint
gave
stick.
yeah, man gave the dude a mint stick, and next thing you know, he's giving him this and giving him that one. Hey, and I don't know all the details, but it wasn't nothing but like 2 weeks later, you know, that the man was how would I say on here, man? The man was that man's little sex toy or something after that. Like two
Oh,
weeks later. And it all started with a mint stick. Don't take nothing from nobody you don't know and know well. You know
so
what you're gonna be owing in
so
return.
I'll tell you two. Let me tell you two stories about the feds real quick, right? Personal stories, and one of them is about my little family member, man. Like he's related to me through my daughter. It's not actually my blood relative, but the first one is about me. So when I first get to Beaumont, when I get over there, I'm peeping the vibe that this place is pretty serious, right? I'm like, oh yeah, this is a serious ass place. I'm seeing the
Eddie
men.
Beaumont.
Yeah, I'm seeing the men that are really there and how so few of us from Texas are there. It was weirding me out, right? It's like this is weird. Like all these people, Midwest dudes, New York cats, and there's
Yeah.
Texas people here. We're deep, but at the same time, the weirdness of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it, bro. It was just different. But check it out. This black dude, and shout out to him, man. Listen, I love this cat later on. It was my boy, man. He was one of the realest cats, but he pushed up on me like on my first or second day and came and sat next to me in the day room and said, say, homie, if you need anything, you can come get it up out my cell. I got you. And now, mind you, I done been to state jail and I've been to TDC, right? And I look at him and I say, huh? And I say, what?
Yeah.
He say, I got whatever you need up there. I say, shit, what makes you think I need something?
For
He say,
real.
he say, you just got here, huh? And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And he say, well, shit, just let me know. I run a store. Like
Okay.
he ran it. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
listen, I'm
I get
thinking
it
he's
now.
pushing the predator shit
Yeah.
on me, and he got a
Yeah.
commissary store. He's trying to make some money off of me though,
Yeah. That's
right? And
different. They sell the 2-for-1s and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes. But I'm feeling like it's day one or two. Do I, man? What the hell is going on right here? Am I finna have to
I
do
don't
something?
need nothing from you, sucker. Who you
Yeah,
think I am?
yeah.
Matter of fact, you better get away from me.
Yeah, yes, that's the whole exact attitude that I had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's not nothing what he meant. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
how new to this
We've
place
been
I was.
conditioned.
But
Yeah.
listen to this. My little kinfolk just went to federal prison, and he's young. He's real young. He's very young, but he's large. He's like 6'7", probably weighs 320. Big youngster.
Woo!
You know, he told his mama that when he first got there, a dude gave him some shoes, and because he didn't have none, right? They gave him like a little care package or whatever, gave him some shoes,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden he found out now he's in their car, but he don't want to be in
Yep.
their car.
I got in a
He,
riot over that. One of the
did you
riots I'm
really?
in there was for that right
So
there.
so tell me about it next. So check it out. The little youngster I'm telling you about, he's a real one though. He's Looney Tune. Like he's not scary, but he
Not
doesn't
going for
really
it.
he
Yeah.
doesn't really have the look like, oh, he'll get down, right? But he's big and he definitely will throw them hands. He has ever since he was a little boy. He ends up beating up the dude that's running the car, that's trying to like force him to run the car. And now he had to spend the rest of his time in the SEG. He did his whole little federal bid damn near in the SEG. He got
That's,
politics on his first week and had to do the rest of it in the hole.
yeah.
I was like, this is the kind of
That
shit why you
sucks.
don't take nothing from nobody in prison if you don't really know
Yeah.
them. You know what?
That
Y'all got
sucks.
into a ride over some shit like that?
Yeah, man. Very similar situation, man. It was on Garza West. You know, when I first got down, I'm still 18 years old, and another white dude, man. We're on medium custody. Like I said, I got put on medium custody early, and we're on medium custody. And the guy was telling me, like, man, they're telling me that I'm part of their ride now, man. That I'm in their group, their gang, their clique. And man, I don't want to be, man. Like I didn't sign up for that. That ain't what I, they tricked me into this stuff, man. Like this was what the guy's telling me, right? And I'm listening to him, and I'm like, man, how did all this happen, man? And it was very similar, man. They hooked him up with some stuff like that. Looked out for him a little bit when he first got there, because Garza West is an intake facility. When you first
Mm-hmm.
get to prison, it's one of the intake facilities, and man, it was rough too, man. When I got to Garza West in 2000, that was one of the most rockingest places I ever been on, and that was a transfer facility. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, but this dude was like telling me this, and I was like, like I said, I'm young and I'm stupid at the time, and I was like, you know what? Shit, we ain't going for this, man. You don't want to be in that ride? Like, no. You willing to stand up for yourself? You gonna fade whatever comes? It's like, yeah, man, I ain't got no problem fighting. I was like, all right, then bet. Let me go talk to a couple people and see what's up. And I got to go talk to some cats, and I was like, look, tomorrow when they call rec, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go tell these cats, man, that there's only two ways to do it. The man said, y'all tricked him into the ride. He ain't trying to be down with it. He don't want no part of it. So, if y'all feel like y'all need to line that shit up, as they say, which is a 5-man line, and it'll be one-on-one, but you got to fight 5 men in a row. And that happened a couple times, man, with different people, man. They faded a 5-man line, and it was over after that. Now, you might do good for the first 2, and then you're going to be wore down, and that 4th and 5th one, boy, they're going to thump on you, man. It ain't no good. It's going to suck. But they weren't trying to hear that this time. They didn't want to run a 5-man line. So he was like, you know what? Well, if that ain't good enough for y'all, man, then we can all just get it. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be the same result. He still ain't going to be a part of y'all's ride. So what's up?
Oh, they didn't want to do it? I didn't know you was getting ready to say that. They said no?
They said no. That's why we had a riot. Yeah, they said, no, we ain't trying to hear it. He's with us. Like, no, he ain't. So we can all get it if y'all don't like it. What's up? And bam, right then and there, homeboy was the first one. He was the first one too, man. He reached out and punched that dude in the face. Everybody just started fighting, man, in the gym on Garza West. Yeah, there was probably, we kind of got the short end again, of course, because there's like 20 at least of them, at least 20 of them. There's about, what we have, 8, 9, maybe 10, 8, 9, 10, somewhere right in there. That's pretty typical, you know what I'm saying? But I will say this, and it's not really a bragging thing or anything, because I don't like to glorify a lot of that life. But you give me 8, 9, 10 solid dudes, I don't care if we got to fade 20, 25. And we're going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? That's all I need. Some real solid men, man. And, that used to like make your heart swell up, man. But different world, different times. That was just how it was, how we lived.
So that's what I was fixing to tell you, man. Rest in peace to my man, Mr. Larry. Mr. Larry told a couple stories from the 80s, right? When the prison gang stuff was really jumping super hard and they were absolutely forcing people to ride and everything like this. He told, well, I'm gonna be honest, I love Mr. Larry, but he told the story about 75% of it, and he did that on purpose, you know what I'm saying, because he didn't want to make everybody look. So he would tell the story about them tricking people into these gangs, into these cars, like, oh, and now people are like, how can you trick me into them? Because they give you your shit, you're dumb enough to take it, and now you owe them, and you ain't got nothing to pay them. So, but hey, if you just be our friend, you ain't even got to pay us, dog. Just hold this dope for us, hold this knives, do some shit like that.
Right here, man, and we'll give you a small percentage.
Shit like that, exactly. And it sounds good to you at first, till you can't stop. But listen, so Larry had the story about. I remember specifically, he said something about a Hispanic dude that got down with one of the cliques in the 80s, and he was saying how the Dallas black dudes themselves went out there, and it happened more than one time, where they would tell the Mexican dudes, "Hey, he don't want to be down with y'all. He's not with y'all. Y'all gonna leave him alone." And they said the Mexicans would look at him and say, "Is this true?" And they would say, "Yeah," and they would say straight up, "Then you're on your own then." And listen, those would be the men sitting on the floor, sitting around the wall. You know what I'm saying? Sitting with no place to sit in the day room and all that other shit. In all reality, yeah, they was out the car, but they would be the ones that didn't even have a damn place to sit in the day room.
Out the car and in the street. Yeah.
Out the car and in the street. That's a deep one right there. I never heard that before.
Yeah, maybe in the gutter if you ain't careful.
Oh, it might be in the trash can, huh, man?
Terrible world, man. Terrible place.
Yeah,
but, they say that probably the height of the rape epidemic in Texas prison, from what I've heard, man, was in the late 80s. Let's just say the 80s in general. And I tried to look up some statistics on it, man, but they're not readily available because TDC they don't advertise none of that. They don't like none of that to be known because it makes them look bad, but the fact is it got so bad in the 80s. Like, I haven't been able to confirm this statistic either, but I heard it for so many years that in the mid 80s that they were averaging something like 85 deaths, 85 murders a month in Texas prisons. And that's part of the reason that the federal government, they stepped in. They did not take complete control of the Texas prison system, but they did establish federal oversight of the Texas prison system from 1980 to 2002. That's when federal oversight of Texas prisons ended, was 2002. 22 years because of how bad and how out of control it got here. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a story on my channel called something about Coco, I was a prison sex slave or something like that, right? It's a lawsuit that I was actually reading about where it was somebody that came in openly homosexual, like through the gate, twitching and shaking and acting feminine, not realizing that he was finna get passed around, he was finna get pimped out, he was finna get done dirty as hell. And
He might have thought he was going to heaven on earth.
well, he might have thought it, but then he realized it wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because listen, the man filed a lawsuit because he wrote to committee, he wrote to Huntsville, he wrote to every person on the fucking thing. He went to UCC, he went to all this shit, telling them he needs help, telling him he needs safekeeping, he needs some type of get me up out of here. And you know, every time they would tell him go get a boyfriend.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Hell yeah, that was the
Yeah.
answer. Or hey, you're still a man. Why can't you go fight and defend yourself? You know what I mean? Go get a boyfriend. Shit like that. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Larry said, and he's not the only one that said it, bro. He got to Eastham, and others have said it in 1975 when he got there. The warden told him, "Say you listen." He said, "You're young, and you're small." He said, "This is a convict farm. I don't know why they sent you here." But one thing about Eastham is you don't gotta be nobody's bitch if you don't want to be. And the rule that they had back then was if somebody was trying to assault you, sexually assault you, do anything to you, you had the right to defend yourself on the spot. He said, but the warden would do you dirty if you came back later and tried to get some revenge. You feel me? Like
It's got to be on the spot. Yeah.
That's probably where we get a lot of that shit that we do in Texas, where slapping in the day room, there ain't no more politicking type shit. It's just on and cracking and we'll figure it out later type shit. Some places we'll go talk about it, get slapped in the day room and go talk about it later. You know what I'm saying? like so it probably comes from shit like that, if you want to know the truth. Like, building tenders back then. I asked him though, I asked Mr. Larry, what did he prefer back in the day? Pre-building tender, like when there were building tenders and when there weren't building tenders. He said he preferred the building tender system because they always allowed you to handle your business without ever getting in any punishment type trouble. As long as you told them what you was about to do, hey, I can go tell them, say, listen, man, after last count, before last child, I'm about to get Shannon. They say yes or they say no. He said, but 9 times out of 10, they be like, all right. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to see what the fuck you gonna do. But then you tell them, hey, right before last child, I'm finna get Shannon, and then you hoe out. Guess what? They might come beat your ass with some lead pipes for fun.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of brutal stories about the building tender days, man. A lot of corruption.
He said he liked it better because men got to be men more. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the prison trying to run it, they basically locked you in and let the damn inmates run it. But
I get it, man. And I really ain't got no problem with men that are willing and to fight. You know what I'm saying? To fight each other or whatever. Yeah, let them fight, man. If they want to fight, they're men. Some men, that's how they work out their problems, especially in such a crude environment like that. That's what they call the language of the fist. I mean, excuse me, the universal language. Everybody understands this in prison. That's the universal language.
Somebody asked me though, listen, under one of my videos, I'm sorry to interrupt, but somebody asked me under one of my videos, why is it like that though? And my only response would be, listen what I said. The same reason we have World War II and World War I, and we're going to have World War III one day, because sometimes certain things just have to be settled certain ways, and nobody's going to come to an agreement. What do you do when two men cannot reach an agreement?
Yeah. And a lot of people would say you can agree to disagree and walk away. And out here in society, yeah, you can do that. No problem. That's cool. But in there, where you got to live around these same people all the time, day after week, after month, after year, and their sense of what they call respect is a little bit twisted. You know what I'm saying? In there, the respect is kind of based on fear. And it doesn't mean fear like you're scared of somebody. It just, I know that if I disrespect this man in some way, that there's going to be consequences, whether I'm willing to fade them or not. I know that. And they
That's what I was
equate
saying
that,
about the dude
they
spitting in the
call
other
that
guy's
respect.
face. Listen, the dude spitting in that man's face, he knew what was coming. He knew he knew how serious it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at that moment he was willing to die or kill. Like, bro, that's
big
hey,
time.
if that man would have pulled out a bone crusher and just killed his ass right there on the spot, I don't think one person in the day room would have blamed him.
They, in that environment, they wouldn't, bro. They wouldn't, man.
The guards wouldn't even have blamed him. Shit, they would have been like, man, I just stabbed his ass too. You know what?
But it's the other people though, man. The people that don't want to defend themselves. They're scared, or they feel like they're unable. They don't want to, whatever their reason or ability is. We already talked about old folks before. Don't pick on old folks, man. Don't nobody respect that. You don't get no love for that. And same thing though, man. What's so different about a youngster, man? Especially a little skinny ass, drawn up kid or something, man. What makes you so tough for slapping a kid like that or punking them down? I'm mature enough now to be able to look at like, man, there ain't nothing respectable about that, man. You ain't tough because you could pick on somebody weak. You know what I'm saying? I never used to look at that stuff back then, man. I didn't care. Every dog for himself. But now I don't cut for that, man. I really don't like it. I don't like bullies at all.
And listen, that's why Clemens and Ferguson and all them got them reputations that they have, because they was young kids that hadn't had this mature mindset like you're talking about yet. You know what I'm saying? They still picking on the weak. They're still using the weak for entertainment purposes.
I think it's easy money or something, yeah.
Easy money and entertainment purposes, dog. They'll have them dancing on the day room table if they want them to. And
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's real talk, man. That's what I'm saying. This is just not the life you want, man. But I say we're gonna wrap this up soon. I appreciate you tapping in with us. But so I'm gonna say it like this: prison rape absolutely still happens. It's a real thing, but it's so much less prevalent than it used to be, because the system is, in my opinion, I'm gonna let you say why you think, but in my opinion, I think it is just because the system itself was forced to take it more serious, and that's the only reason I think why it chilled out. What do you think?
That's a very good point, and I actually agree with that point. And like I said, prison rape still happens today. It's just the face of it has changed. The way that it's done has morphed into something else. It's evolved, let's say, where it used to be straight taking something, straight up rape in the most brutal sense. Nowadays, it's a lot more manipulation. There might be drug addiction. Somebody might purposely drug you in order to make you all delirious and defenseless, to take advantage of you, to rape you. Saying it might happen like that. The way that it happens, it's not so much brutal force anymore. That's not to say that doesn't ever happen. It does, but it is just not that common anymore. Like I said, it nowadays it's more manipulative and it's more tricky, man. It's just a wicked place. It's got some wicked people, man. There's plenty of good people. No, don't get it wrong. There really is, man. But at the same time, man, there's plenty of screwed up people in there too, man, that are just twisted and going down the wrong roads and paths in life.
You know what you just said, bro? I almost started laughing when you said it, because I never heard nobody describe prison like that. It's tricky.
Tricky.
It's tricky, dog. They got to pull a million different tricks on you in a million different ways, from the laws to the inmates to the whites to the blacks to the Mexicans to your best friend, man. Everybody got some kind of goddamn play they're trying to pull. Everybody got a game. Everybody got a game plan. Yeah, everybody got an agenda. Everybody got a technique, tactic. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be the man to sit there and try to analyze 200 men around you at the same time at all times.
Yeah, don't trust nobody but yourself, man. Yeah.
Nobody, man. I appreciate you, brother. We're going to do it again real soon. I'm going to get up out of here because I got to go handle my business.
Always a pleasure.
I'll catch y'all later. Texas Prison Story family. Salute, man. Much love.
Salute.
and subscribe to him. Check it out. Takes Prison Story Family. Salute y'all. It's your boy Tim Snow. Got another one here for you, man. I just want to say what's up to everybody here.
Yes, boy, you a fella. I say you got me, man. That's what I'm saying.
Boy Tim Snow. Takes Prison Story Family. Salute